Another new HTML5 web form element you can use in your forms is the progress element. And the progress element is used to represent progress towards the completion of a task that is broken up into a discrete set of steps. So, for example, you can use the progress element to show that the user is in step 2 out of 5 in a form, or any other task that is broken up into a number of steps. You can use progress to show where the user is. The progress element is not intended to be used to indicate measurements like a thermometer or a gauge or something else that shows a value relative to some sort of range of measurement. That's what the meter element is for, and we'll cover that elsewhere in the course. So the progress element is just used to show progress against a task. And some browsers may choose to show this as, say, some kind of rectangle filled in with a color a certain way, or they can choose how to render this, and we'll see an example of that. The progress element has some attributes, and it has some DOM functions available to it. The attributes on the progress element are the value and max attributes. The value attribute is the current value of the control, and it has to be greater than 0 and less than or equal to the max attribute. And the maximum value of the progress element is indicated by the max attribute. So in the example we used above, say for example step 2 out of 5 in a form, the value would be 2 and max would be 5. And obviously value is going to change as the user progresses through the task. The DOM function position returns the calculated position of the control, and it's basically equal to the value divided by max. So in this case, you would divide 2 by 5 and you'd get 0.4 or 40%. So let's go ahead and take a look at this in the code, see how it works. So here we are. This is the progress section of my snippets. Let's go ahead and open the example file. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the progress start example. I'm going to copy in my snippet, and we'll copy that, and we will paste it, and we'll get rid of this one here. All right, so you can see that the progress element right here has a value of 50 out of a max of 100. And inside the progress element, I've placed some fallback text. So in a browser that does not support the progress element, the user would see this text instead. So right now, Opera is the only browser that currently supports this. So let's see what it looks like in the Opera browser. I'm going to go into my examples, and I'm going to start up the progress start. And you can see that in IE, we don't support the progress element just yet, but the user sees the fallback text anyway. So let's open this up in Opera now. And you can see in the Opera browser, it's drawn as a rectangle halfway filled in because the progress is currently 50%. Let me go back to the code and change that to another value. Let's change this to, say, 80. And we'll save. And we'll go back to Opera. And now when I refresh, you can see that the progress value has changed now to be 80%. So the progress element gives you an HTML5 compliant way of showing progress against a task. And as we've seen in older browsers that don't support it, it falls back to displaying whatever the interior text of the progress tag shows. So you can go ahead and use this in your forms today. And as browsers grow in capability, the user will automatically get this nice new UI element. And in the meantime, they'll get the fallback text.